Hey guys, welcome back to Contest Prep University. I'm Joe Klemczewski with Adam Atkinson. We are in episode 5, our summary and conclusion to our meal planning series. And I know, Adam, you wanted to talk about quality of food, food sources, some of those things. So I'm gonna pitch it right to you, and we'll start there for the summary.
Yeah, there's a lot of myths I wanted to debunk with this. So when we look at pre and post workout, I think that's a great place for sugary carbs to be implemented pre. But the research, doesn't necessarily say that your post workout has to be sugar or there's going to be any additional effect with insulin doing it that way. Now, if you have a hard time eating post-workout, you might want to put some sugar there because it's low in volume. But the quantity of the food and the immediacy are greater factors post-workout versus, anything else. So don't think that you have to have, candy post-workout, even though some people do that. There's no extra benefit to it being sugar, aside from maybe it's just easier for that person to fit in. Maybe their hunger level's horrible post-workout and they're eating a lot of food. So that's a great place for sugar, but it doesn't have to be that way. I think that was kind of one of the biggest things I wanted to touch on. And then just overall food quality is important. You're going to get a greater thermic effect with less processed foods. But again, you may need some processed foods to get intake up higher if you're eating a lot.
Yeah, really good points. And I would say for those who remember the book Nutrient Timing, doctors John Ivy and I believe the co-author was Portman. But way back, maybe in the late 90s, maybe mid 90s even, they did a lot of work down in Texas with athletes, and they wrote this seminal book called Nutrient Timing. And they were the ones who created the fascination with using exactly 75 grams of maltodextrin or dextrose. They were using a pre-workout, post-workout. And they're really trying to drive insulin in what I mentioned a couple episodes ago of even with protein synthesis post-workout to really make sure that those amino acids are getting driven right into the muscle cells. And so there is an advantage to recovery having some high glycemic carbohydrate, but I would agree consequential or subsequent research has actually shown that it's not that effective. It's not that necessary. You may be looking at a couple percentage points of extra effect, and then cumulatively that might be better. But then you also have some negative consequences of, is this really healthy for me? If it's not that necessary, if my bloodstream is delayed 30 seconds or 90 seconds to start that flow of insulin, is it really, that critical? So I do agree. I think a lot of the most current research shows that even, that magic anabolic window, these were the guys who talked about that, kind of making sure everybody was getting that post-workout food 10 minutes, post workout. And now that's been shown to be not quite that necessary. Even up to a couple hours, you're totally fine. So again, I know we're all looking for every advantage we can get. So as you mentioned, Adam, these are great places to experiment and just see if you feel better, see if you feel like glycogen levels were filled up a little bit better, but absolutely not necessary.
Yeah, you've got to look into the psychology of the client in all these situations. So if they have to go that extreme that they're having dextrose post-workout, but they hate consuming that and would rather have a whole food, that actually might be better for them in the long term, because being able to stick to your diet is going to be way more important than any of these factors.
Yeah, the pleasure of actually eating food versus just slamming down sugar water. That's but again, I mean, they were working with athletes who were probably consuming 2,000 grams of carbs a day because they're doing 4-hour-a-day football practices and 2-a-days and that kind of thing. So that's a big difference. But interestingly, that research got applied to us. I do like what you said about pre-workout too, because that is a place where I do, especially when dieting. I don't feel like it's that important now because I have enough food in my day. I'm never really in a calorie deficit that deeply. But when I'm dieting, man, does a little sugar pre-workout go a long way. That's when I will save something like, I become famous for eating Reese's, or, I was the guy 20 years ago who wrote the first article about having Pop-Tarts. I wrote this one article in Natural Bodybuilding and Fitness magazine about having Pop-Tarts pre-workout. and then suddenly there's a box of Pop-Tarts in every gym bag across the country. But sometimes little things like that, even though they're processed and sugary, they really do go a long way for that great workout when you're in a calorie deficit.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I would also use, like I said, either some branched chain amino acids with that, maybe some glutamine pre-workout, or just make sure you've had a protein rich meal within a couple hours of using something just like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Any final words on the series as we wrap this up, Adam?
I don't think so, aside from, making sure to keep hunger at bay with all these decisions you're making will be really important as well.
Well, we are past 300 episodes in this entire podcast, so we have plenty already recorded on meals and nutrient timing and so forth. But we wanted to put one together for you specifically on meal planning. So we hope that helps, guys. And don't forget that you can always go to thedietdoc.com/contestprepu and always see an entire breakdown with links to every single series we've done, every episode, and even the features we've done. So we will see you next time with some new topics.